Hi, it's Ben here, Sparks Mechanical. What I've got in front of me here is a turbocharger that's been pulled off a Holden Cruise. Okay, this car came to me. Customer said that it made a funny noise on the way to me because it was coming for a service. It wasn't running quite right, and when he turned up I had a look over it, and in the end I worked out the turbocharger had died. So what I did is I actually pulled a sensor of the exhaust, and then I poked my camera down the exhaust here on the turbo, and I've seen that was all loose. Okay, so that's a little turbine, right, when the exhaust is going through. So this is off your cylinder head. The exhaust goes through here, goes through there, makes that little turbine spin as the exhaust goes out the back hole there. Now, on the other side of that, we have this one. And this shouldn't be in two pieces, this should be in one piece. As the exhaust turbine spins, it makes the input or the intake side spin. Right, and that's what creates boost. And then basically the air is going through here, hits that turbine, turbine pushes boost out that pipe there. And that's how turbos work. That's as simple as it gets. But on the turbocharger itself, we have a oil drain, which basically the oil goes back to the sump. On the other side, we have the oil feed. Now, when this car came to me, I mean, it was running pretty rough, and it had a lot of fault codes in there, and it was making weird noises. And when I figured out the turbo had died, I got to find the reason why it died. And the reason why it died on this car is because the hose that feeds that for the oil sits in like that, and the heat that's generated in this area is quite high, and it's baked the oil into that hose. So it's a bit hard to see, but I'll try and get some zoom on that. You see in the end of the pipe there is all blocked up. Okay, so that oil's all caked itself in there and just blocked that hole up. So that oil was not getting to the turbo. This is the little bolt that holds that in, like that. And again, the holes around this are all blocked up. So the whole problem was caused by this hose, which is around about $50. Okay. Now Holden know that's an issue. Okay, Holden Cruise, they know it's a problem. The revised hose actually has an insulator on it, like this stuff here. Okay, so they actually covered it with an insulator so the heat doesn't affect it as much. So if you've got a 1.4 litre Holden Cruise with a turbocharger, I'd be getting that replaced as soon as possible. Because to do this job, it was around about 2,200, I think, for the turbo side of it fitted. It's quite expensive. Might have been a bit less than that, about $2,000. Alright, could have been avoided. Holden know it's an issue, so I'm surprised they don't pull them back and try and recall them. That's the actual return hose, and that's how I pulled it off. It was actually broken in the middle. And that's how I worked out there was no oil pressure too, because there should have been a massive oil leak from this pipe, but it was melted. There was actually no oil getting through here. Normally you'd see straight through that and there'd be oil going everywhere, but because there was no oil pressure getting to it, there was no oil leak. If you are doing one of these and you're a mechanic, make sure you order the cooler hoses. Okay, these are stupid design. They've got an O-ring in the back here. Once you've turned these, you've upset the O-ring, they leak. I found out the hard way after fitting it. I had to pull it back off and replace them two hoses. You got to buy the nut and the hose separately. Okay, so you buy the nut, you screw it into the turbo, and then you push the hose in, and it's got a little clip on the end of it. These aren't serviceable by the look of it. Alright, so just replace them. Anyway, that's one thing that's caused this engine to die, is just the heat getting through that, and it's baked the oil. But on a note, that's the reason why these days it's very, very important for regular oil changes. Now, some cars still have 15k intervals. I don't believe it's enough. I think if your car's driving around the city, you should be doing these things every 10, maybe even sooner than that. If you've got a late model car, that's just one thing that you can kill by not changing the oil. Turbocharger is an expensive thing, because if you're not changing the oil, alright, those holes are fairly big on this. Focus again. Alright, and that's blocked them up. But if you've got a car that hasn't had regular oil changes, there's a lot of other things that can happen too. So putting off that service, it's not going to save you any money in the long run. It's actually going to cost you more if something like this goes wrong. Another thing I do these days is I put engine flushes through engines, and that's to try and break that stuff down. So now I'm putting the flushes in. That would have broken some of that down, but not a lot of it because it's pretty hard and baked in there. But regular oil changes with regular oil flushing would break that down eventually. It may have saved the turbo eventually, but this one was just too far gone. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy my videos. See ya.